Today's guest is Dana Claudette, a modern Feng Shui master with 20 years of experience who almost quit YouTube last year. She was putting in the work, going nowhere, and was done. In her words, her channel was dead after being on the platform for 15 years. Then she gave it one last shot and everything changed.
When I first watched your videos, I started to see people who sounded like me, who were really frustrated or couldn't figure it out or starting from zero or had a dead channel, and then it came to life. And I was like, this is something, like there's something that she knows how to do that I don't know how to do. And if I'm going to give it a go, I have to go all in.
Now YouTube is driving qualified leads directly into her Feng Shui school, and her channel is growing faster than ever. And most importantly, she's having fun and loving every minute of it, which wasn't the case before.
It really has become so fun. And I think that, yes, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of stuff. And it's not just fun because more people are watching. I think that's really a shift. It became fun before because, like I said, it became a game.
In this conversation, we talk about what it's like to be an expert in your field, but completely stuck on YouTube. The attitude shift that changed everything, and how the right strategy turned her channel into a real business asset.
It was really interesting. At the beginning of the year, my decluttering certification was open, and I just had like tons of people fly into that without even really mentioning it, which was amazing. It was probably like 20% more people joined just from watching the videos. Feng Shui School, usually in January, I'll start doing advertising on different platforms, mainly Instagram, Facebook, to bring in new people. And I haven't done any of that. And I have twice as many people already joined and already like on lists to join and like on the wait list.
If you're a business owner who's been spinning your wheels on YouTube, or you're a business owner who wants to go all in on YouTube, this one's for you. Hi, my name is Erika, Vieira, YouTube strategist who's worked with nearly 2,000 female business owners, entrepreneurs, and creatives grow on YouTube. This show is about real conversations on what it really takes to grow on YouTube. To learn more about working with me and access my free live YouTube workshop that's happening this week, check the description. Ladies, class is in session. Let's talk to Dana. Well, hello, Dana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. When I first signed up, all I watched were testimonials and little bits of video, and I just signed up. So it's really exciting to be here 6 months later. I found you through ChatGPT. I was going to quit YouTube before this. Like I was on a walk and I was like thinking about all the things that I'm doing and all of the energy drains. And I was like, you know, I shouldn't even bother making YouTube videos. They don't do anything for me. And then I was like, that's not really my thing. Like maybe I should just give it a go, really hire someone and do something. So I asked ChatGPT, which is not my thing to do, but I was like, I don't know who to ask. And so I asked ChatGPT and you came up. And the minute I saw your stuff, like I said, I just watched a bunch of videos like this. And within a half hour, I joined the bootcamp and I just never looked back.
Why don't you share with us a little bit about what you do and who you serve and how YouTube fits in all that?
It's really interesting. I am a Feng Shui master, and what I do is really unique. I created my own method of Feng Shui. My work doesn't easily lend itself to the kind of videos that are really formulaic because I don't believe in rules or formulas, meaning it's so customized and everything I do is about you having your greatest home. There's so many layers to it. And so I always felt like in some ways, if I made long form video, that I'd be cheating people out of the truth of the stuff. So over 15 years, I've been on YouTube, but I've been doing sort of slipshod. I would show up, make videos, leave, show up, make videos before a launch, leave. And I never really had any roots in it. I never really thought it did much. I was like, okay, I'll just keep going, see what happens. My channel grew over time, but I never quite took it seriously because I couldn't understand it. And I always got comments underneath my videos saying, more people need to see this. Why aren't these videos getting served to more people? And I just be like, whatever. But over time, I did a little bit of investment in YouTube. I saw growth in my YouTube, but it never was that big. And I'll explain from what has happened now and what I've learned from you. My channel did double in size in subscribers, but it never translated the same. And it wasn't the same kind of people. I've learned now it's a difference between reaching an audience of random people who watch one video or subscribe and then never watch again, or reaching a real community. And so that's why I was very disaffected with YouTube, but I was always looking for places where I could really share this work. And really, it's my mission to get it out into the world. And it wasn't until I started the bootcamp and did the very first part of it, which I'm not going to give away to everyone. You can join the bootcamp if you haven't, but it helped me to become extremely clear about the fact that half of what I do, not just a piece of it, but half of what I do has to do with decluttering all of life, whether it's energy cleansing and it's all in very unique ways. And the other half is all of the feng shui. And that opened up a world of thinking for me about all of the things that I could share that wouldn't be shortchanging people, that people could take action on. And it opened up a whole world of creativity in terms of how I could share what I do in feng shui. It was a journey to get there. I didn't have success until the final month of the first round of the boot camp. But when I did, it finally made sense.
It sounded like when you found me, you were at a point where, and I feel like I get a lot of people like this who've been on YouTube for a while. It's either I have to poop or get off the pot, right? For you, what was going on where you said, I have to finally do something with YouTube or just move on?
I've been on every platform. I started on Tumblr to give people context. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm very early wellness crew, very early on the internet before anyone was doing this stuff. I was the first person doing online feng shui consultations in 2007. So I've been really around a lot of platforms, and I was very big on Tumblr. It was like the launch of an accidental career. Everything that happened from there was all platform to platform, but I never got really into obsessive about one platform or one place. I was always like community. To me, my business is my thing. So I was really established in my business, and YouTube just didn't reflect that. I was like, my God, like this is ridiculous. Like, I feel like it's ridiculous that I'm spending all this time making a video, and for what? When I found you, I'm either going to go all in and see what this is all about, or I'm just going to dump it and I'll just leave YouTube as a place, which what it became was a place where I would go live every week. Like, it would be another live for me to do to have more community and reach more people. And I was like, what? This doesn't make sense. And so I knew and this is my philosophy, if you give it 100,000% and you give it enough time and nothing happens, then maybe it's the universe speaking to you and you could go do something else. But I never gave it that. I never did. And
Why?
because I felt like it wasn't worth it. I didn't see that it was possible. When I first watched your videos, I started to see people who sounded like me, who were really frustrated or couldn't figure it out or starting from zero or had a dead channel, and then it came to life. And I was like, I'm seeing person after person. I didn't just see like one or two or five. And it wasn't just like the YouTube experts who talk, about this hack and this hack. It was people who had sustainable careers, who made a career out of YouTube, which was never my intention at first. But I was like, this is something, like there's something that she knows how to do that I don't know how to do. And if I'm going to give it a go, I have to go all in. And I showed up with a big chip on my shoulder. I felt really pissed off that I was spending so much time and not getting results. I was very frustrated about everything. And it was a really good experience to just shut up and start doing the work. And I've only gotten through the first two parts of the boot camp, I should say. I can't wait to finish the rest. But just from that, this is where I landed.
Wow. So what kept you going? Why didn't you quit 10 years ago, 8 years
Well,
ago,
I
5
had
years ago?
20, 30,000. I think I had, 20 and then 30,000 people. And it's like, why throw that away? And I always felt like maybe one day. And it was whenever I was marketing something, I was making videos anyway. So it would be like a place for me to share videos. If I was doing something on YouTube, why not do it on Facebook? You know what I mean? I was literally doing videos that would go on Facebook, on YouTube, they would go everywhere. And I was like, it was just another audience. And it was something I knew over time. A lot of people who joined my feng shui school, a lot of people who work with me watched my YouTube channel. So I knew it was something valuable. I just didn't know how to change it. And so you kind of get to a point, like you said, where it's just like, I either have to go all in or I need to stop doing this because it's like spinning wheels.
You joined the boot camp last summer. You said that you had a big chip on your shoulder. You're annoyed with YouTube. What was a moment that you thought, oh, this can actually work?
First of all, doing the coaching calls have been so instructive because I saw, again, a lot of people who are in situations like I was, which was really great for me to have. And also people who I watch are in the boot camp. Like there are a lot of people who I was like, oh, I watch your channel. Oh, I've seen this person. And so I was like, oh, everybody has something. And then I know a bunch of big YouTubers and they all have coaches. And I was like, everybody has a coach. Obviously, this is something that I really needed. It was a missing piece. And I allowed myself, after I was angry, frustrated, everything else, to just be okay with flopping. Like I said, I gave myself 6 months and I was like, each time I'm going to try something new. Each time I'm going to try to make something better. I really approached it like atomic habits. That's how I do a lot of things. Like if I could get 1% better, 2% better, 3% better. And your feedback on videos was extremely helpful because I always thought, oh, I know how to make videos. Like I've been making videos forever. And your feedback on very specific things in videos was extremely helpful. Like everything was like, how can I take this? How can I apply it? We did thumbnail sessions. I would apply it. I would go and make that. Like I was like, let me just really do this. And each time, even though I wasn't seeing big numbers changing, I was starting to understand what I was doing wrong. And that was really the key to start doing things more right. I can't even point to one piece. It was really so many little pieces that when they all come together, you finally can communicate in this medium.
There's a lot of moving parts with YouTube. And I think maybe it was actually in the bootcamp group, somebody just posted this. When someone joined, I gave them a questionnaire and then they're, what do you like about YouTube? And she's like, yeah, one of the things I don't like about YouTube is the fact that it's a lot harder than other platforms, but in some ways it's a good thing because it's got a higher barrier to entry. So many people are not willing to do it, or they're kind of like you, Dana. They're there, but they're not really there. It was interesting to see your progress through the boot camp. Were you approaching it at the beginning like, hey, I'm just going to go all in?
I had so many personal things happening in this period of time. And I'm still, during this process of everything happening, I've been updating 2 main programs, editing maybe 20 videos a week, like for something else, and I'm doing intensive amounts of stuff. I had a lot of like life things to sort out. And then I was like, probably September, October. I was like, okay, I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to start doing this. And at first I was like, I remember saying, I'm going to make 2 videos a week. And then I actually started making 1 video a week that was better and better. And I was like, I'm not playing this game. Like I'm not doing this like quantity, quantity, quantity. I want things to be really good. I really want to be of service to people. So when I locked in and I was like, this is it, there's no turning back, all the pieces started coming together. And that's when I was like, I think I've told you, like I spent like 20 hours on some of the videos for the beginning of this year. And it was because it was such a learning curve. Like now it's becoming less and, it's becoming more manageable. But there's so many things now I want to do. And the biggest shift I think I made in my mindset, because it is a barrier to entry to get started, was that this was an art. And other platforms, and I've told you this before we started talking today, I've been viral on other platforms. Like they don't convert into real things, even remotely as much as YouTube. Like they just don't. I get to know people on YouTube. I've met people that I watch on YouTube and I feel like I know them. I don't feel that way about people that I watch, reels or TikToks of. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't feel that like I really understand them.
I just want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of this video, vidIQ. I get asked all the time as a YouTube strategist what tools I actually recommend, and vidIQ is one I genuinely use for myself and for my clients and my agency. It's one of my go-to tools for things like keyword research, testing thumbnails, and really understanding what's working behind the scenes on YouTube, especially when I'm doing that channel research. If you want to check it out, you can try it for just $1 using my link, vidiq.com/Erika Vieira. All right, back to the interview. What platforms have you been viral on and what do those numbers look like? Because I think it is really interesting and I think it's so important for people to hear because get people coming to me all the time who say, I have 500,000 followers on Instagram, but I'm not seeing the conversion, or I have millions of views on TikTok. I hear it all the time, but it's so interesting coming from you. Like, what were those numbers that you saw in some of these other platforms, and which platforms are they?
Tumblr, I had a big Tumblr. I was like one of the people who was always on the Tumblr radar, if
Mm.
you think back to the Tumblr days. And all my friends were really big Tumblr. So that was really my first social platform. And that was more like a hybrid of blogging and posting. And people probably don't even know what it is anymore, even though it still exists. I was
Yeah.
always hoping Tumblr would have a comeback because it is such a unique format. I always worked with other people, like other big wellness people. So I've had my videos go viral on their platforms
Mm.
with millions and tens of millions of views all over the place. I've had a lot of collaborations with people do really well. I think I went from 0 to 150,000 people on TikTok, like almost overnight. And then I just stopped because I was like, this is literally bringing me nothing. It was starting to bring me a lot of weird vibes. Like I was getting so
Mhm.
many weird comments. It was a very strange vibe. Like I was like, I don't think I like this. I
Yeah.
don't think I want to keep doing this. I don't know, something about it. And I just couldn't really get into it. I'm going to go back to it now because I think now it would be more fun.
Mhm.
But like I said, it was very easy to walk away from. And I'm not like that. Like I am like always like, oh, I'll
But why
just
go
keep
back? If you said that it doesn't translate into sales or business for you, why go back?
I like having platforms where I can do certain things freely. All
Hmm.
my friends are on Instagram and it's more like a community. TikTok is like the Wild West. And so I'm going to use it as a place where I can just like walk and talk, do things that are really fun and easy, where it's like a platform where I can express myself just for fun. So that's kind of how I view things now because I won't invest a ton of energy into anything now that seems random. I've really become so much more intentional. And I don't mean intentional in terms of just creating sales or creating anything, but intentional in terms of creating an impact. Waves of people are starting to come to me saying, I've watched these videos. This has happened to me. I'm waiting for the next one. I'm watching you on TV. The craziest thing about YouTube, and I don't know if you've had people tell you this, but I'm going to start doing my videos in 4K because I have 30% of my people who watch on TV. And apparently now more people are watching YouTube than Netflix, which is
Yeah,
wild.
it's bigger than any streaming service. What's so interesting is I started noticing this shift, I'd say about 6 months ago, where I did start to see that TV percentage on a lot of my clients increase, where a lot of my clients are now 30, 40% of their audience is watching on television, which is insane. So we've had to optimize things for that viewership, like putting QR codes, because not everyone's like, if you're on the TV, the links aren't very accessible. Things like you said, doing 4K, but I think it's incredible. I think it's a testament to YouTube and how it's not going anywhere. And it's a very, very important platform.
I think that's also why now I feel really drawn to making more content that is like TV content, that is not TV content, but things that you would want to watch, like more great B-roll, more great. Like I'm starting to really expand again, like an art project.
Mhm.
And it's been really great to see how many people have made changes, not even going off the platform, not even joining me in some program or hiring me, just on the platform. How many people have made a change is what I was after. And I feel like that's
Not just watch your videos and don't do anything else.
yeah, it's going to inevitably be like 90% of the people anyway, or
Yeah.
99 who watch videos and don't take an action. And I'm fine with that as long as I know that it's actually being of service. And that was the thing. Like I really didn't see how a 30-second reel was really being of service to anyone.
Mhm.
I really feel like it's helpful, it's fun, it's inspiring, that's great, it serves its purpose. But I feel like YouTube is really being of service to people. I find everything I need on YouTube in
Yeah.
terms of information, everything. Like there's nothing that, whether it's a camera setting or a recipe, like everything's on YouTube. Like, you just find it. And so, yeah, it's been really amazing to be able to do that and to see the shift in other people. And that's been extremely motivating as well. Of course, like my metrics this year have been very motivating, but it's been really incredible to see that people are not just watching, but they're doing.
What changed right away on your YouTube channel when you started implementing the things that you learned in the boot camp?
I'd say the first 4 months were me cleaning things up, starting to understand what I was doing. Like I said, understanding with each video how to make the beginning better, how to make the middle better, how to make the ending better, what pace. I could talk really fast, I could talk really slow, whatever. And then I was like, I think I'm starting to get it. And it was late December that I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to get it. I think I'm starting to get it. But there was one key thing that I didn't do until January, and it really changed everything. And I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but one of the things that you kept encouraging me to do was to own my expertise on the platform. It's like, I'm a feng shui master. I'm not just someone who has been doing this for a long time. I created a method. I'm really well known for what I do. I'm one of the more well-known people in the world for what I do. Like, why am I not owning that? And when I started really leaning into that more, that was a big thing energetically for me. And also a big thing that I think translated into the thumbnails, the way I make my videos, even the titles, everything. And yeah, it made a big difference.
So when you say you leaned more into it, what did that look like?
Really emphasizing the fact that, I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been doing this for 20 years. These are the things, because I used to start my videos with this long introduction where it's like, let me explain to you all the nuances of what I do. And you were like, no, you've been doing this for 20 years. You're a feng shui master. Tell people. And it was just like, oh yeah, like, why am I belaboring this? And also, why am I not doing things from the perspective of my expertise as a feng shui master? And as I started really emphasizing that, I remember on one thumbnail, you were like, put feng shui master and point to you. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And all of this felt so unnatural to me. And I think that's important for people to hear. It's so unnatural. Like, thumbnails are the most unnatural thing in the universe.
Yeah.
But
it is for a lot of people. So much of what I do is thumbnails and titles. I think in thumbnails and titles every day when I'm working with my clients. I probably review at least 10 to 15 thumbnails a day minimum. And I've been doing this for almost 8-9 years. Everything is a thumbnail title to me. And it's just so funny when it's like, yes, it is a foreign thing. It's a very difficult thing for a lot of people to wrap their head around. And I feel like so much of what I do in the bootcamp is really helping people understand how important, very quickly, we've got to translate an idea really fast. And not just that, it's got to be something that gets people interested and to click and all these things.
the best thing that, I've heard from you over and over again is, this doesn't show me what the video is about. Like, all I care about is that people understand what this actually is. So that was the last thumbnail. And I think we did like the dump these 19 things. It's doing really well. And it was a really, really fun. It's been really fun also to enlist people. Like, I'm really getting feedback from everywhere now. And that's a good thing. It's helping me to just get into my own style. If you could see, like, those are my old thumbnails.
I remember
That was the start of the boot camp.
Yes.
But then if you go down further, that was me before, where, yeah.
And this is what I see with a lot of people, especially people like you that are business owners, where I don't say like half-assing YouTube, but they're just doing it. Is like they see some kind of template somewhere, or they buy some template. And this is why I really relate to what you say, Dana, at the beginning, when you said that the way that you approach things with your own community, it's very difficult sometimes to give formulas and give that advice because it's so customized to the person. And I feel the same way when I'm working with people in the bootcamp or one-on-one. Every person's strategy is really unique to them and what they have to offer. What I would tell you, Dana, is very different than what I would tell somebody else. And you see that in the calls. What I see a lot of times is these formulas that people will end up getting. There's people out there that sell, here are my template of my thumbnails. And you could tell because it ends up being very formulaic in the thumbnails, and it just it doesn't work long time. Maybe a couple of them work. And then a lot of business owners, people get caught up in that. Okay, well, this is what I'm doing. This is what people say. But you've got to unlock that creativity. You got to unlock that mindset of, I've got to do everything possible to get the click on the video. It's not just checking a box and just throwing a thumbnail together. You've gone through that transformation here.
Hey, that was a big part of it. I mean, like I said, it wasn't that I didn't care at all when I would post things, but these were all, I thought this was like me doing a lot for YouTube, is like doing what you're looking at right now. These like kind of, I'd have like a template for the year pretty much.
Yeah.
And yeah, it got to the point where it just felt like, did I really do all of this for no reason? Why do I keep making all of these videos? And so locking in and becoming much more clear, none of it has been random. It's all been extremely intentional. And it's so much fun now to not just come up with videos, to see what I could do differently, to go and use, like, I live in LA. A lot of people I know, live in big cities. I've never taken advantage of doing B-roll in the city before. And I have so many cool things that I could film. And I started. And as soon as I started doing that, I was like, God, this has all been waiting for me. And I just haven't taken advantage of it. And it's awesome. It's been really fun on top of extremely useful. And really, it's a whole other 15 hours of my week now, which I never have done before.
But that 15 hours is actually now translating into leads and sales for your business. So let's talk about that. At what point did you start seeing the changes that you're making as a result of what you learned from the bootcamp and the calls and all that? When did you start seeing that translating into your actual business? Because that's the main reason why you are on YouTube, why you're on any of these social platforms, is to spread the word about what you do.
2 months and 2 weeks ago was when it all really started moving. But what I didn't want to do, because I've always had decent January videos. And when I say a decent January video, 6,000 views over the course of like a month. And then it would be like back to normal. And I was like, what I don't want to do is
what was normal for you?
Oh, like 1,000 to 1,000. If I got 2,000 views on a video, it would be like a great video. And again, this was all sporadic. It wasn't like I was doing them every week and getting these views. I would just sporadically come in and out. And so when it started happening, and it was really one decent performing video, which I think got like 5,000 views. And then the next one was like a few thousand views more. And then it was just 2020. I think it was the big 2026 forecast was the one, the 45,000 one was the one, but it was not 45,000 views over time. It was 45,000 views in a week. And that changed how I think it was when everything really woke up. Like I knew things were waking up this year, but it was, I remember in call saying to you, are you sure you can wake up a dead channel? Like, I think my channel might be just dead.
Yeah, I think you asked me that like 3 or 4 times in the call. I'm like, yes, because I could see that there was so much work to do. Granted, you have hundreds and hundreds of videos, but you haven't really scratched the surface of truly being strategic.
It was that moment when that video started that it was the whole channel started getting viewed. And what started happening was people would message me and say, I've been watching your videos for the last 7 hours. I've been watching. And I was like, yeah, because I have 7, 8, 10 hours of content for you to watch on any topic. It was almost like I've been saving up for this time where now people can get into something and they can watch infinite numbers of videos about it. And that's been very affirmational. All of my hard work in the past wasn't for nothing, because now all of these videos are getting rediscovered.
So like dead videos. So we're literally getting no views because this one video did well and then the subsequent videos did well. It just woke up the entire channel. Is that what you're seeing on your end?
I mean, a lot of it. And people are now it's starting to pop in different directions where people will discover different videos. But it became a wave. And so each video into the next, it would just carry up more videos. And that was really great. And I think that was just the unfortunate position I was in, that I had so many videos waiting for people that if they really were into something, they could keep going. And I have a lot of playlists, so people could just keep going. And that, I think, was very awesome. And all of my videos are do something. It's like, make a change, do something, not just like, here are some concepts. It's like, do it. And so seeing that feedback, I think, and people coming back and coming back. And now, even in just 2.5 months, I recognize a whole lot of people that have been watching all of the videos. That's what I'm used to on platforms. That's what I love, when it's like, yes, it's like, it was really interesting. At the beginning of the year, my decluttering certification was open, and that I just had like tons of people fly into that without even really mentioning it, which was amazing.
In January, after these couple of these videos went viral, you had a decluttering certification, and then basically you had a ton of base customers from YouTube to that certification.
Yeah, it was probably like 20% more people joined just from watching the videos. They just came in. I didn't send an email. I didn't do a thing. People just joined. And the same
you had
thing
a
for
link in your
the
description of each video.
Yeah, it just, here are details, but I didn't do anything else but like drop a link.
You didn't even do a CTA in the video.
I did CTA in the video at the very end, because I'm really focused on people having a great experience in my videos and really being able to enjoy them. And I know that there's always people who really get it and who want more. And I'm here for you. But I just had everything pinned, and things just started going. Feng Shui school, which is a much bigger part of my life, that's like my thing. That was really surprising, because usually in January I'll start doing advertising on different platforms, mainly Instagram, Facebook, to bring in new people, to get new eyeballs on it, all like, to expand it.
Are you talking about paid ads?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and I haven't done any of that. And I have twice as many people already joined, and already like on lists to join, and like on the wait list. And so I haven't had to do a single thing. I mean, obviously I've invested hundreds of hours that I wouldn't have invested before, but I would rather do that, because what you get from ads, and I think everyone who watches this who has a business knows this, is sometimes you get really wonderful people. It's worth doing. I'll continue to do it for as long as it's available and it works. You'll get a few great people, but you get so much noise. And, it's not like if you're getting cold people, it's very random to get cold people who are going to invest thousands of dollars in you that don't know anything about you. And it was really just a big eye opener to see that it was possible to have this inflow, and to know that it's like something I'm building just year round. The other thing that's been really interesting is, I think everyone experiences this, is getting approached for a lot of different sponsorships. And one that I'm really excited about doing it. But now I'm like starting to think forward as to how I want to structure that, what that's going to look like. It's been really cool to see that unfold. I've done one sponsorship in the past on my channel, and I think I have so many really decent sponsorship requests, not like crappy ones. So that's been really nice. And a lot of press requests, which are really awesome. I always welcome that. But I think, like I said, the biggest thing has been, it's become a job. And so I set a new goal when I started the boot camp. I said, I'm going to put 6 months into YouTube and see if I can make it into something real. So here we are. I did that. And now I set a goal in January when this started happening. And I was like, okay, I'm giving myself a year to make this a full-time job. So that's my new goal.
What do you mean by that? to make it a full-time
making
job.
it like where if I did nothing more outside of YouTube, like not even sold things, like if I just from growing YouTube, from all the opportunities that come from it outside of my classes and my trainings and everything else, to see what's possible, what I can do with it.
So are you saying you wouldn't do the classes and trainings anymore?
Well, I'll still do the classes and trainings, but
Okay.
I'd like to, if every time I've really built something new, if I build a new program, I always say, if it's worth building, it has to be able to support me fully. Like if I did nothing else, it has to support me fully. Otherwise, it's probably not going to serve enough people. It's probably not going to be worth the energy and the time. So I always look at things like building in that way. And so this is the first time I've ever done that with a social platform, but I don't think of it as a social platform anymore. I think of it as this really unique hybrid, like broadcasting, like I said, like this TV aspect, like how this is unfolding. It's so exciting. It's a way for me to click into a longer term mindset. What I've come to see over time is that if I'm not, this is the metric, nothing stays the same. And so you're either going up or you're going down. And I know that if I'm like, oh yeah, if I just use this to meet more people who want to study feng shui with me and work with me, I will ultimately start going.
Yeah.
Because I need to have bigger. I have to, I'll keep doing that, and then it'll be like, okay, that's enough. I have enough people. I'm good. To sustain the level of commitment that I think it takes to really build something awesome on this platform. And that's what I'm seeing. Like, I know for some people it might be more or less, but almost everyone that I've talked to who has a really big channel, it's a job. It's like a real committed job. Even if they have editors, even if they have help, it's a job. I think it's really important to have some sort of goals. I don't even know that I would have thought about this even 6 months ago as a possibility, but I'm starting to understand now that it's kind of the only way that I could do things. And so I'm going to just see what happens. Again, I didn't think in 6 months, if you asked me in December if this was going to pan out, I would be like, I'm not sure. And I'm usually really positive. My whole life is about manifesting. And I was like, I'm not sure, but I know I promised that I was going to give it 100%. So I'm not sure what it'll lead to, but I just know if I give it 100% and I keep this level of energy without burning out, that was another thing you taught me. I can't go crazy and burn out. Then why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go big or go home is what I always say.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling. Not only that, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people have been talking about the inconsistency of other platforms.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Instagram's always changing something. I can't even keep up with it. It's just like I just share what I like to share. TikTok's always changing, and then it's sold, and then it's this, and then you can't do that. I just feel like the most consistent platform is YouTube. And like I said, it's the one where you really get to know people.
Yeah. And that converts into actual buyers.
Yeah.
That's massive. On that topic, I think it's really interesting that for this launch, you didn't run ads when you usually would have. And you're saying that's solely because of the success that you're seeing from YouTube.
Yeah, I usually run a significant amount of advertising just because, every time I do something, I want to give it the best shot of success. But I didn't even intend to not run ads. I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to have to run ads. I just forgot because it's been so many people coming in, so many calls, so many things. And I was thinking, I looked and I was like, oh God, there's no ads running. That's wild. And there's all these people already joined. I think that will probably fill up soon before I even do the main registration. It's only early registration. I'm so grateful for that. Like so grateful. But I think YouTube does a really good job if you give it the tools of connecting you to the right people. It's like a great matchmaker. That's what I understand now. If you give it all the right information, if you tell it, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm doing. Look at my thumbnails. This is what my video is about. This is what my titles are about. It will find you the people that you're supposed to meet.
You usually run ads. This time you didn't. Are you seeing that you're seeing more success than YouTube alone, or is it the same success that you would have, except you would have been spending a bunch of money on ads?
I'd say I'm pretty much at a point where it's a bit more than usual at this point. Yeah. Obviously it's been like effortless in terms of I haven't sent an email to let you know I haven't done anything. I've done nothing compared to what I usually do. Now I'm going to really get into my launches and like start opening things up like I do every season. And that'll be exciting because I'll really see who's there and how many people more convert from that whole effort from everything I've been doing on YouTube. But it's pretty significant. It's not pretty significant. It's extremely significant. I'm an energy person. And just like I said, I really feel like I'm being connected to more of the right people, but also I really feel a different form of momentum by doing what we do in the boot camp, by setting everything up really specifically and being so detailed and being so clear and really handling all those metrics. It's enabled me to finally do that. I wouldn't care if my videos got less views, but they were all the right people. Like that's really, and would I live with that? Yes, I would be 100% fine with that. Like being, turning this into a job is secondary to meeting the right people. But yeah, it's been really cool to see that happen. And that's what I missed in YouTube before. Anytime I had a little bit of success, it was like on a random video. How do you use cinnamon to make money? And so what do you get? You get a bunch of people who want to make money. And that's not the people who want to learn about feng shui and change their life and do all this effort. It's people who want a quick fix. And so I didn't know what I was doing. And I was looking at all the wrong things. I was looking at all the wrong metrics.
Yeah. And spending time on that. You were spending so much time on these videos and they just weren't getting you anywhere. Whereas now you're spending time on YouTube. It's not like you're spending less time. You're spending time, maybe a little bit more time, but it's actually translating now into leads and buyers and sales.
Consistent and planned are two things that I used to miss. Intentional, consistent, and planned. Now I'm very intentional. I am very consistent. I have almost a regular schedule now of doing everything. And planned in advance is my next thing. I'm starting to get a few videos ahead of myself. And that is monumental. And it's something I didn't see. I think that a lot of people feel this way that have done this. It's like, what's the use?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if nothing's happening, like, what's the use? What's the use? What's the use? But I think that you provide people with such incredible feedback tools, but also it's such a clarity to be able to make it worthwhile.
What's a really good lesson for people to take away is you said you were going to give yourself 6 months. And the crazy thing is your channel didn't really start taking off until month 6 or 7, right?
Month 6 and 7, yeah.
Yeah. That's where I think it's really important for people to know, because it's not you weren't doing anything. You were coming to the calls and you're a really good boot camper. You're engaged. You ask me questions. You ask questions in the group, but you were coming back again and again and again. And finally things started to take off for you. This video that we showed earlier, I mean, that wasn't until 6 months into the boot camp. My question is, what did you do to keep going even when things were not looking like they were taking off?
Promised myself I would do it. I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important to work with someone. And I think that's why at every level, YouTubers have coaches that are successful. Now I'm sure of it. Like, I don't know a single YouTuber, like I said, who's super successful, who doesn't have someone that's helping them, because there's always something to expand and grow, and everything's relative. I thought I had a flop this last week. And if you told me these were the numbers I was going to have on a video 6 months ago, I would be clapping. I would be like jumping for joy. I'd be like, oh my God, it was such a success. Can you believe it? It relatively changes very quickly. Like the level of what you start to expect, it goes up, and so does the need to make change go up. I think that's what happened. It's like I started incrementally seeing okay, I got this better. I got this better. I got this better. I got this better. At some point, this has got to come together.
Mhm.
And I was really humbling for me because, like I said, it's not like I'm a celebrity by any means, but I'm pretty well known for what I do,
Mhm.
extremely well known for what I do. And like, it's a niche, it was very humbling for me to be really well known and not be able to
Nobody care
reach
about you on YouTube.
nobody.
Yeah.
No one could find me on YouTube. And that was the thing. It felt like nobody cared about me, but I'm starting to understand. And I think that maybe people need to hear this. People just can't find you. YouTube will send out your video. And if all of the things are not aligned, it'll just stop sending it out.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then you don't get sometimes you get another go at it later. Like it'll come back and be discovered. But it's kind of annoying
Mhm.
when that happens and you just keep thinking like, what do I need to do? How do people even know that I'm here? I think that's why people have had like this reaction to my channel lately, because they didn't know it was here and there's so much on it. And
Mhm.
they're like, how did I not find you for all these years? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I
Yeah.
didn't know how to do YouTube. So
Yeah. And now you have that real community of people, not just the fair weather fans or just the people that find you for one video and randomly subscribe and forget about you. We talk so much in the boot camp is like the idea of the community and being very intentional with the videos you create because you're being intentional about who you're trying to attract and all of that lining up. So ultimately, you're in the position that you're in right now where we were able to wake up a dead channel and not just wake up a dead channel and not just get views, but have it convert into sales, convert into buyers, convert into customers, and have this amazing community.
it's been so awesome. And I'm starting to understand now all things that I was doing wrong, all are clear to me now. I saw all the little bits along the way as you were coaching me, but now I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. I understand. And now when people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to do YouTube, I'm like, get a coach.
Yeah.
Like, just don't waste your time.
Mhm.
Your time is money. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Do something like this. Do the
Mhm.
boot camp. Do something like this and get it right. You can cobble all these information together and you will waste so much time. It's so worth it to get
Mhm.
feedback and do it right. Otherwise, there's so many other things to do that are probably going to be more beneficial because it's a lot of work to make a video, like no joke. And it really is a humbling experience when you're posting and it's like, but even in the good times of YouTube, I have never had this kind of action, this kind of, I emailed you and I said, I finally understand what people talk about when they say YouTube is the best platform. Like I finally get it.
Mhm. Yeah. What do you think were the three biggest mistakes that you were making?
The topics, the topics were the biggest mistake I was making. The topics were huge. I thought that every topic had to be unique and original and something no one's ever done before, ever thought about. And no one cared. No one understood. The topics were a big one. The thumbnails were huge. And the videos themselves, my videos weren't really me. More and more, my videos are more me, talking like me, doing things like me. They're a different pace, they're a different flow, they're me. The way I teach, I don't teach robotic looking at a teleprompter. Like I'm just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. That's how I'm making my videos now. And it's a whole different world of me being more myself. But the topics were a huge part with had to do with not understanding what I was doing, the thumbnails and all of that, and then the videos themselves. So it was really three pieces. None of it had to do with equipment. None of it had to do with anything fancy. I didn't purchase a single thing besides the boot camp. I didn't do anything new. And I'd say the other mistake was I would put in effort only to a certain point and not to go the distance. Once I allowed myself to go the distance and I was like, yeah, I'm going to start going out and filming B-roll everywhere. I'm going to start doing these things. I'm going to start really investing time and energy into making all these projects and doing all these things. And like, I make them for myself anyway. And you had told me that you already do all this. Why don't you share it? And I think that was a big piece of it as well. But none of it matters if you're not speaking to the right people. And that became very clear to me.
People like you, Dana, that are very successful at what they do. They are leaders in their space, or they've had a successful business. There's a lot of blind spots when they're attempting to do YouTube. And I really enjoy working with people like you. And that seems to be who I attract: high achieving women, successful women, but they can't seem to crack YouTube. When I was watching your videos, you first joined, and in the calls, you told me, and this is why that interaction in the group calls is so important, and why I really encourage my boot campers. And not everyone does. Not everyone does. And it's all there for them. You could do what you want. You don't have to join the calls. You can just listen. You don't have to ask questions. You can do what you want. To be able to get me to look at things and ask me questions. When you told me how well known you were in your space, you told me, this is who I am. This is what I've done. I did not pick up on that in the couple videos I watched. And why in a million years would you not start with that? We worked on it though, not a 40-second explanation, but in a fast way. Why wouldn't you do that? And to me, it's so obvious, but to you, someone that's so in it, we're oftentimes too close to what we're doing. It's really fun for me to be able to work with people and be like, oh, what about this? Or what about that? Even the thing about you're doing it anyways. I know we talked about your plants. Look at all those plants back there. Why aren't we doing a video on that? And you're like, oh yeah, I do talk about this. It's these light bulb moments where it's, why haven't I? Well, it's because you're doing a million and one things. And YouTube is just a small part of it. And it's sometimes we're so busy. We have so much going on that we just are checking the boxes. And it takes somebody to be like, have you thought about this, and this, to open up unlock an entire creativity that you weren't even tuned into before. And I feel like that's what happened with you.
It really has become so fun. And I think that, yeah, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of stuff. And it's not just fun because more people are watching. I think that's really a shift. It became fun before that, because like I said, it became a game, and your feedback, don't bother doing this without feedback. Like, it's so true. The blind spots were so many. And even in like my editing, at one point you told me, shoot all your B-roll. Like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you shooting all your B-roll? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I could just get B-roll from online.
Why are you using this crappy stock footage AI stuff? You're so much more interesting than that. Like, let's just film you making your bed. Why do we need a stock footage of somebody else making the bed? Make your own bed. And you're like,
exactly. Yeah. All of that was that going the distance. And so if you're going to put effort into it, like, put all the effort into it, because I really do feel, again, energetically, it comes back. And I think that was like one of the comments you left on my videos. You were like, the energy, like the energy, because it became increasingly more fun. And I really, with anything, you see if someone doesn't or does like what they do, if they have a chip on their shoulder. I think that for so long, it was like, here I am showing up, making a video. It wasn't that bad, but I definitely had that feeling inside of me. And now I'm like, this is really fun. And this is a new opportunity to meet more people. And yeah, it's become like an art project. And I would never have figured out all of these things. And they're unquantifiable. I keep saying that. There's so many notes that you give people during these calls, and they're so specific, and you do watch people's videos and you really see things that I wouldn't have gotten those things. You see pacing, you see moments, you see all of these things, and it's invaluable. Even backgrounds. You've helped me. I've switched up how I shoot, where I shoot, what I do. And it was huge. And it was only because I couldn't see it. You know what I mean? You opened my eyes to a whole world of things. So even if you think you know what you're doing, or you think you have all the steps, I just think, like you said, the blind spots are so enormous, and YouTube is not just thumbnails and titles. It's also your videos. And if your videos are not it, people will click and then they will go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. 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 Or they'll click and watch and then forget about you or not sign up. I think it's incredible that you said that you haven't even tried really to fill up your launch and people are just clicking on your links in the description because you've given them so much value in the video itself. And they're like, yeah, I want more.
You also really encouraged me to do that and encouraged me to not just to give value, but to really give my perspective on things. And I think that that's been huge, like huge, huge, huge. I think for so long I've been like, I don't ruffle feathers. Everything I do is positive. Everything I do is positive, but I have strong opinions and I've
Mhm.
started sharing them now and I've started including them now. And I think that's also been really missing. I've been censoring myself.
In this day and age of AI, that's the only thing we're going to have is the fact that people can get information super easily right now. I can go onto ChatGPT right now and be like, oh, what is the best way to unclutter using Feng Shui methods? We can do that. But the one thing I can't get is the experience of an actual human who's been doing this for like you've been doing this feng shui thing for 20 plus years. You have all this experience. You have the emotion tied to it, the energy tied to it. That unique experience we all have is going to be what actually separates us. And this is why my methodology so much is about, and I always say YouTube starts with you in the bootcamp. And you know this. You probably haven't even gotten to the SEO portion yet. And look, your channel's taking off. Like, I don't even know. You said you haven't even finished it. You just went into phase one, phase two, where it's very much about all these things we're talking about, like the blind spots. What are you not sharing about yourself? What energy are you bringing? Like all these things. That's our humanity. And it's crazy for me as an educator in the space who's been doing this for almost 10 years. It's like, I always give my little pat on the back. My intuition of going in this route, the way I've been doing it for years and going with the creator first and very much going deep and finding the answers like introspectively and through our intuition and less about the SEO and the tech, which is what a lot of people do, which everything's valid, right? I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be even more important now with AI. That's all we have.
It's really all we have. And I'm super human focused. Like everything I do is very tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you've really encouraged that. And I think your intuition and the fact that you lean into your intuition that's one of the reasons why I joined. I was like, normally if I'm going to join, first of all, I don't join programs. I should say that. Like
Okay.
I joined purely on instinct. And I was like, I normally, if I've joined like a podcast thing, never did it. Joined another thing, never did. And so I'm like, I don't join things. This was like an instinct and seeing that you really follow your instincts. And sometimes you can't even quantify why you're saying something.
Yeah.
It's so how I live and how I work, and it works
Mm-hmm.
because the feedback, like I said, that I've gotten and I see other people getting in the program and that I see now people in the group, like what they're doing and how they're growing. It's not something that you can find in like a 10 tips to grow on YouTube video. Like it's not that. None of it is. And that's why I'm really glad that ChatGPT of all things brought me to you because
That's crazy. What I enjoy is being able to take someone like you, look at your content and be like, ooh, what can we do? And that's exciting. And that is truly using my intuition from a human perspective. And I love it. I think it's fun. And
yeah, it's definitely not just about getting data. And when people work with me, they're not getting data. They're getting a full integrated experience
experience.
of life.
Mhm.
And I think when people work with you, they're getting this full integrated experience. And as I said before this interview, a lot of how I changed was not just, I hate using the word mindset and calling it a day because I think that lets down so many people. It wasn't just mindset. It was a decision. It was a commitment. And it was like this constant improvements. And I was willing to walk away if it didn't work, or I was willing to just, put it on a shelf and be like, well, I tried that. I know I gave it my all. Not everyone's going to be an Olympian. Not everyone's going to be a YouTuber. Not everyone's going to be whatever. And I was like, at least I'll know. And I was going to do everything it took. And that was so worthwhile. So yeah, for everyone who's thinking about doing it, I didn't even think. I was on a walk and I just joined. I just said, I'm going to just go all in. I watched, like I said, 30 minutes. I was walking and listening. I wasn't even watching. I was listening to testimonials. I looked at the page and I was like, oh, where do I join? And then I just joined. And then I was like, I just joined this thing. So that means for the next 6 months, this is what I'm going to do.
What would you say to someone who's been on YouTube for years, like you, who's stuck, maybe has a dead channel and is wondering, what should I do? What would you tell that person? Because that's exactly who you were like 6 months ago.
If you're really willing to put in the energy to do it, this is not a magic pill situation. You are the intense feedback loop. You have so much that you offer to people, especially now doing thumbnails as well, getting into thumbnails with Courtney. I don't know if that's something that you talk about openly, but we've been doing
we have a thumbnail workshop. Every month we have thumbnail workshops now, which is really great.
Which is so great. And it's taught me a lot about, again, these little nuances, these things that make all the difference in terms of being able to communicate clearly. And so between that and the feedback, if you're willing to do the stuff, if you're willing to actually show up, you definitely will see a difference. Even before all these good things happened and things started to finally click into place for me, so much good was happening. This is something I should have really emphasized earlier. I was becoming more intentional with a lot of my communication. Over time on the internet so much, you can become really sloppy, you can become really disengaged. And when I really locked into more purpose on one platform, it translated into a lot of the ways that I was communicating. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm doing this just for YouTube skills. Most of the boot camp is really being clear about what it is you're trying to do, mm-hmm. who you are, what it is you're doing
publicly. Like, who's this persona that you have out there? And your brand.
And bringing your talents, gifts, and skills to life, and like, how can you translate that? So if you're willing to do the work, you will get all the feedback. But just like you said, Erika, if you don't show up, if you don't make the videos to get the feedback, if you don't go through the whole process, it's not going to be as awesome. But I'm not alone. Like, I'm now and I'm just starting. I feel like I'm just at the very beginning stages of doing this, but I'm just one of the people out of thousands of people that I've seen. So hundreds of testimonials. You have all these testimonials. It works when you really invest in it. What you focus on will grow, and this will give you all of the things. Yeah. And just decide at the beginning that in 6 months, you're going to be a success story. And I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be a success story 5 months ago, but
yeah. Here you are on the podcast, which
I know it worked out.
Amazing. I love it. So anything you want to wrap up and tell people about, you share so much about how this change in mindset and the intention and all the different things you learn impacted your business. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to share?
I think that one of the things that I was so dead set on was being so original, mm-hmm. and everything had to be unique. Everything had to be so original. And I realized that YouTube really does reward clarity and simplicity. And sometimes it's a little bit easier than you think. I was making things way harder for myself in terms of topics, in terms of the kind of content that I was creating. And it can actually be a lot easier. I encourage everyone who can, if you really want to give this a shot. I'm on every platform. I love lots of content on different platforms. This is the only one that I consume regularly, and I hire people from YouTube, and I find people on YouTube. If you feel the same, this is probably worth doing and really investing in, because even if it's a long haul and it takes a while, it's going to be the best investment that you can make.
Yeah. What other opportunities have you gotten because of your YouTube channel?
Interesting, really cool press opportunities. Some haven't happened yet, but just people reaching out is always a good sign, and really big networks reaching out, which has been pretty amazing. Some sponsorships,
You
and
mean
I'm
like
really careful.
television networks or like what kind of
Yeah,
network? That's
television network.
amazing. Or like a
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Is that something you
Uh,
want to do?
yes, I'm not as hyped about it.
Really?
I think the right one, it's great. And if it works out, it'll be wonderful.
Hmm.
But it's been really nice to have that feedback. I've gotten other press requests that have been wonderful, but again, in a short period of time, it's like a lot of things. I've also had great sponsorships. Like I get a lot of crappy sponsorship requests on TikTok. There were some really great ones
Hmm.
on YouTube. And so that's given me something to consider if it's something, which ones and what I would do. There's one that I'm definitely going to do because I love the product,
Hmm.
but it's exciting to see that unfold. Like I said, I'm treating it like it's a job regardless. I've committed myself to it for another year on this, in this energy, and I'm going to see where it goes. And I think the other great piece of advice or whatever I could offer from someone who is so fed up and so annoyed. And by the way, I was on YouTube for 15 years. I think it's
Yeah.
15, right? Since the very beginning, I had a YouTube channel and I had my laptop that I would like film on like the little camera on my old Mac laptop sitting on my bed. All of that. Like I've been around it for a really long time, in and out. If you feel really frustrated and really annoyed and all of the things, consider the fact that people might just discover all the work you've done before and that maybe it wasn't for nothing. That's
Yeah.
another big thing.
I think that's an incredible thing because I've worked with people who actually get viral very early on and it can grow their channel, but then they're like, now what do I do? There's no other content. And then subscribe and they left and they didn't come back. You're better off going viral or taking off after 6 months, a year, when you've really got a body of work there, because the algorithm works in a way when people find you and they watch another video, then they're going to watch another one and YouTube's going to serve them another one and then another one. YouTube won't stop serving them until they stop watching. You've got hours of content on just each topic alone. YouTube is so sophisticated. It knows exactly what to give that person, testing it. So if you've got more work and more content, it's always a better thing. Always.
It wasn't all for nothing. And join the boot camp. It's so worth it. And work with Erika either way. Work with her as a coach. I can't tell you, you are so good at everything that you do. But more than that, like your energy is really important. You are really direct. It was really hard to handle some of the feedback at first. I was like, oh my God, my intros suck. And it was really hard because you're really direct and I love it. But it's also like, oh, not another thing I have to fix. But I started to really embrace that. And you're so clear and you give people actionable things to do and a lot of them. And you don't let people off the hook. If people are willing to do the stuff, you have people do the stuff. Like you don't just go, oh, that was a great video. You get into everything. So thank you for being so great at it. I'm going to be in every call I possibly can for as long as I possibly can. Everyone should do this that wants to do it. It's so worth it.
Dana, well, I am so excited for your success. I love your content. I think it's amazing. And so for people that don't know who you are and they're new to you, where can they find you?
At the Tao of Dana, TheTaoofDana, the Tao of Dana. It's pretty simple. And yeah, there's hundreds of videos there waiting for you.
There's a lot of content there. It's so fun. I love what you do. Dana, thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.